Hello. Hello. My name is Katie. I'm a Western Tropical Astrologer. Thank you so much for being here. Tonight we're going to talk about the Aries super full moon happening on October 17th, 2024 at 4:27 a.m. Pacific time. And I am in an unusual place for my forecast updates. My husband is a game master for Dungeons and Dragons, and you can hear his voice pretty much everywhere right now. So I'm trying to find the quietest place without waking up the baby. So today I wanted to talk to you about the Aries super full moon because it's so powerful, it's so potent, and I think it's really going to shake up a lot of different things. Now I'm also trying to go live. Let's see here. Aries super full moon. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Hi, welcome. My name is Katie. I am a Western Tropical Astrologer, and tonight we're going to talk about the Aries super full moon happening tomorrow, October 17th, 2024 at 4:27 a.m. Pacific time, so you can adjust for your local time. Now, let's just break this down piece by piece because this is going to be a really, really powerful super full moon in the fact that this moon is really going to shake up a lot of things. There's going to be a lot of endings for people, especially in the realm related to relationships. Now, just a couple of things. Astrology, there's a lot of different ways to interpret a natal chart. I am a Western tropical astrologer, meaning that I look at what's happening in the sky based on the seasons. So the moon may not be exactly where it is compared to Vedic astrology, but we kind of rock with the seasons where we have, like, for example, right now we're in the season of Virgo and Libra, right? So we have this Aries super full moon happening tomorrow, October 17th. And this super full moon is connected to the total lunar eclipse that we had back in April. So the super full moon indicates that the full moon is even closer to Earth than a full moon normally is, which means that the impacts of this is going to be a lot more powerful. Add in that this full moon is connected to that eclipse, that total solar eclipse we had back in April that went right over the United States, right over North America. Yeah, this is the culmination point of that energy. There's also a cardinal grand cross happening, and there is a square to Mars, and there's a square to Chiron. We're going to break down what all of that means. We're going to go over horoscopes for all 12 of the zodiac signs. But first, let's just kind of break down what exactly a full moon is. So when we have a new moon, we're planting the seeds for what we want to bring to fruition, what we want to culminate into our life. What kind of energy are we asking people to bring into our life? When we have a full moon, we're essentially talking about the seeds that we planted harvesting. So now we're starting to see some impact. We're starting to see some effects from that new moon. So when we have a super full moon, that means that whatever seeds were planted, wherever our focus was, because where our focus goes, energy flows. So wherever our focus was at the time of the new moon is really going to be related to the full moon. And because we had that total solar eclipse back in April, it was April 8th, 2024 to be exact, this super full moon is really going to be powerful in shaking things up, because remember, when we're talking about eclipse energy lives for at least 6 months of potency. Think about turning a ship. It's not going to turn on a dime. It's not going to flip on and off like a light switch. So this is why when we get into eclipse season, people get a little bit more antsy. But I like to kind of calm you a little bit with the fact that eclipse energy is meant to help you out in life. Now, let's talk about relationships, because this is going to be a big, powerful full moon related to relationships. When we let's think about our first crush that we ever had in life, right? When we first had that crush, we probably would have been happy to have been be the person that we ended up with forever. Now, I don't know about you when you had your first crush, but I remember my first crush happened in first grade, if not earlier, if we don't count like Disney cartoons. If I ended up with that person that I had a crush on in first grade, probably wouldn't end well, because I've changed. I've evolved as a person. I've gotten a little bit more comfortable and aware of what my needs are, and I've gotten more comfortable vocalizing them. And that's going to be a big, big, big theme with this Aries super full moon, because Aries, remember, is the natural ruler of the first house of the zodiac. So if you think about it, Aries season is usually in March and April, right? It's the beginning of spring. Everything is just starting to come back alive. We're starting to feel more energized. We're starting to feel really excited about what's to come. And we want to get our hands dirty. We want to get to work and start really building things. And this is what Aries energy does. It's that pioneering muckraker. And symbolically, Aries is represented by the ram. Have you ever seen a ram walk sideways up a mountain? That's pretty innovative, right? And that's the energy of Aries. Now, I'm a Western tropical astrologer, so I believe and I teach that we have all 12 zodiac energies within us, always. So you need to find out which house of your natal chart Aries rules. If you are not an Aries rising, Aries is going to rule a different house for you, meaning Aries energy is going to really be influential in a different area of your life. For example, I am an Aquarius rising, so Aries is the ruler of my third house, which is all about communication, online business, entrepreneurship. Now, when we have a full moon in Aries, it's usually about momentum, moving forward, taking risks, doing something, because Aries is ruled by Mars. And Mars sometimes has a bad reputation of being very feisty, war hungry, just this very aggressive energy. And it's true. Mars really is connected to a lot of militaristic energy. Mars is the ruler of the military. This is why you see a lot of battles and tension kind of going on right now. We've had eclipses on the Aries Libra axis, which is really all about war and peace. Aries is ruled by Mars, Libra is ruled by Venus. So you have this, masculine, feminine kind of push-pull vibe going on. And then we also have a push for war. We have a push for peace. Now, when we have, let's talk about Aries a little bit more. This is an energy, like I was saying, that is very innovative, and it's also the natural ruler of the first house. So Aries is this energy that says, I am. I know who I am, and I am confident in the way that I am and how I approach life. And it makes sense, right? Because when you are the first sign of the zodiac and you're going first in the dark, you're paving a new path. You have no idea what has ever been done before. So this is a masculine energy that is aggressive. It's creative. It's pioneering. It's passionate. It's ready to start something new. It's ready to do something that has never been done before. And that's so beautiful. So we want to find which house Aries rules for us, because this is the area of our life that is really being illuminated by this super full moon. Now, I'm going to try to give you a hint without looking individually at all of your charts. Once you find, and by the way, you can go to astroseek.com. You can look up a free natal chart. You do need to know the exact time of your birth to figure out your rising sign. So if you don't know the exact time of your birth, I do recommend if you are in contact with a parent or a family member who has a copy of your birth certificate, if that information is on there, or if you have your birth certificate yourself, even better. Really try to find that information. I've had clients who even will call the hospital that they were born at to really figure out that exact precise time, because once you know that precise time, that's going to influence which zodiac rules which house. And that really does matter when it comes to the astrology that I'm talking about. So, like I said, you want to figure out which house Aries rules for you, and then you want to think back, what was going on in your life the week before, the week after, April 8th, 2024, because that is when we had that total solar eclipse in Aries. And that energy, like I said, has remained active for these last 6 months. So if nothing happened during that total solar eclipse, you're like, oh, phew, nothing happened to me. Just pause 1 second. There might be something that's still bubbling up. I also want to give you a little bit of a hint too. Once you figure out which house Aries rules for you, and if you kind of look back at journals, social media posts, text messages, you can kind of see themes that are going on. Where was your focus the week before, the week after, also on April 8th, 2024? That's going to give you the best indication of what is probably going to bubble up at the time of this full moon. I also want to give you some other dates too. So this may not be as relevant for everyone because I know we're all different ages, we're all have different life experiences, but I want you to think back or look back if you have any sort of journal from this time. What was going on in your life between April 2004 and March 2006, specifically in the area of your life ruled by Aries in your chart? And then you also want to look October 2014 through September 2016. If there's anything similar going on between April 2004, March 2006, October 2014 through September 2016, plus April 8th, 2024, the week before, the week after, that is going to give you the strongest indication that that's the energy that's showing up in your life. Now, I'm just going to give you an example. Remember, I said I'm an Aquarius rising. So Aries is the natural ruler of my third house of communications, which is naturally ruled by Gemini. So Gemini is all about communications and talking, getting different opinions, different sides. It's really the student energy. That's what Gemini is. So my third house, because I'm an Aquarius rising, has a flavor of both Aries and Gemini. Now, back in 2004, 2006, I don't quite remember what was going on in that area of my life. I was actually in high school at the time. But between October 2014 through September 2016, I had a lot of changes in my life. I actually had a breakup. I broke up with someone in August of 2014, somebody I thought I was going to marry. And we had talked about kids. We had talked about, he even wanted to know what color front door I wanted for the house that we were going to buy together. So this was quite, a relationship where I didn't feel it was abnormal to be thinking about the future together. And that relationship fizzled, and I was so heartbroken that I did something that I wouldn't normally do, which is I went on a dating app, I went on Tinder, and I ended up meeting the love of my life, my now husband, 2 months later. So in October 2014, I met him. Now, in that time, I've had a lot of different things happen to me, right? But I want to just kind of show you how this is that eclipse energy working in action, right? We think we have this ending coming and that's it. It's doom and gloom. But then, surprise, the universe gives you this gift and you realize, my gosh, I have it way better than I ever imagined. If I would have married the guy that I thought I was going to marry from August 2014, the guy that broke up with me, I would have permanently been in a relationship where I never felt good enough. I was constantly thinking that this person was cheating on me. It was messy. It was really tough. It was hard. And now I'm in a relationship with somebody who never makes me question my value, who always tells me how much he loves me. And he loves me so much and knows how insecure I felt about my physical appearance that he proposed to me when I had absolutely no makeup on. So I can always go back and remember he proposed to me when I had just woken up and had no makeup on. I didn't even have anything really but like a t-shirt and sweatpants on. So this is, I guess, my invitation to you to take a deep breath. Let's actually take a deep breath together. So I want you to breathe in through your nose. And when we breathe in through our nose, I want you to think Ave. Because when we say Ave to ourselves, when we're breathing in, we're signaling to our body that we can relax. We're saying, I am. And then when we exhale out of our mouths audibly because we're releasing this energy. And we say, Sa, almost like you're sighing. We're releasing all of this tension, all of this energy. So Ave on your inhale through your nose. Let's do that 3 times together, okay? Inhale, Ave. One more. Inhale, Ave. And beautiful. I am at peace with myself. I am at peace with the world. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the nitty-gritty before we dive into a little bit of a forecast, a general forecast for all 12 of the zodiac signs. So like I mentioned, this is a super full moon that has a cardinal grand cross, meaning if you are a Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra, rising or sun sign, you are likely to feel the effects of the super full moon the most, especially if you have any natal planets between 24 and 29 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn. Now, those are what's called the cardinal signs because these are the energies that initiate new seasons. Aries initiates spring, Cancer initiates summer, we have Libra that initiates fall, and Capricorn initiates winter. So these are the cardinal signs. They go first. They're this pioneering energy of going forward in the dark. We have a cardinal grand cross during this super full moon, meaning all 4 of those cardinal energies are activated, and they have very tough activations. So we have Mars in Cancer. Mars, like I shared with you, is this masculine energy. Cancer is the feminine energy. It's ruled by the moon. Mars and Cancer, no, it does not like to be there. We also have Venus in Scorpio. Venus is the goddess of love. Scorpio is ruled by Pluto in the underworld. So we do need to kind of think sometimes like some of these energies don't really like where they are. So they might not be working at full speed. For example, Jupiter, the great benefic, this planet that is supposed to bring us luck and blessings, is actually retrograde. So Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini, and Jupiter, to begin with, does not like to be in Gemini because Gemini, like I shared with you, is the student. So Gemini symbolically is represented by twins, right? The 2 faces. And Jupiter doesn't really know where to go. Jupiter expands. It brings more and more of that energy. And with Gemini, it doesn't know where to go. So not only is it retrograde, it doesn't know entirely where to put this energy. Venus in Scorpio is really kind of feeling like I want to be lovey-dovey, but you're maybe not that way. Mars in Cancer is saying, I really want to break out and do something, but Cancer is saying, can we just cuddle? Can we just, snuggle up together at home? And we have Chiron in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer. Every single one of us has Chiron somewhere in our chart, and Chiron indicates to us where we have our greatest wound. But if you know the full story of Chiron, you also understand that our greatest wound also becomes our greatest superpower. So Chiron is not necessarily anything to fear. All of these energies not working at their most empowered state is not anything to fear. Sometimes this energy comes in because we need to clean something up collectively and individually. And this full moon, the super full moon in Aries, really feels like a cleanup individually and collectively when it comes to relationships. I'm seeing a lot of relationships to kind of fall apart, not just romantically, but in business partnerships, friendships. And that's, I think, because Mars in Cancer is asking us to come forward and say, what do you actually like to do? I had a client share with me that they were watching Love is Blind, and they were talking about how, how intimidating it would be to share what you really like about life and what you really enjoy doing on TV, especially if that answer was, I just like to talk to myself and watch TV. I like watching reality TV. But a lot of us feel like we have to be impressive. We have to do something extra. So this cardinal grand cross is coming forward in this energy and saying, hey, ignore all the noise around you. Ignore all of these voices telling you who you should be, what you should do, what you should think, da-da-da-da-da. It's saying, what do you feel? Trust that I am power. Now, let's get into the updates for all 12 zodiacs. Now, these are going to be based on your rising sign. So if you don't know your rising sign, you can listen to the update for your sun sign or your moon sign. But really, the best way to work with this energy is to learn your rising sign. And like I said, you can go onto astroseek.com and get a free natal chart if you know your exact birth time, or if you want to work with me, I'd be happy to run a report for you. I'd be happy to share, how these transits are specifically impacting your chart, because it's going to be different for every one of us. And it also really does depend on where our natal planets are. For example, if you have a lot of natal planets, if you have your sun, your moon, your Mercury, which is how you communicate, your Venus, how you love, your Mars, how you fight, if you have all of that energy in Aries, you're going to be very activated during the super full moon, right? But let's say you are an Aries rising, but you don't really have any other planets in Aries. You may not necessarily feel the impacts of this as much, which is why getting a personal reading, or I have some clients that do on their birthday, they get a solar return forecast. So what am I supposed to expect for this next entire year? Or we talk about relationships. How is this relationship impacting my chart? If I move to this location, how is this impacting my chart? So like I said, you can go schedule something with me at elevatedaura.com, or if you're on the Clarity app, you can also book a session with me there. All right, Aries risings. So this super full moon is impacting your first house of self, which is all about our appearances, first impressions, styles. So with the super full moon in Aries in your first house, it feels like you're really undergoing a change in how you perceive yourself or how the world perceives you. So think back what was going on in your life, especially around April 8th, 2024, the week before, the week after, because that's when we had that total solar eclipse, new moon in Aries. And also think back what was going on between 2004, 2006, April 2004, March 2006, and then also October 2014 through September 2016, Aries. Taurus risings and suns. This super full moon is impacting your 12th house of the subconscious. So you may actually find yourself having really big realizations when it comes to things that may have been buried in your subconscious, or maybe there are parts of your life that you now better understand need to change and why they need to change. Or perhaps you're coming to the realization that there's someone around you that does not necessarily have your best interest at heart, because the subconscious, the 12th house of the subconscious is also related to prisons, mental institutions, hospitals. So it's really that like mucky, yucky stuff that we really just don't want to deal with. So a lot of that stuff might be bubbling up for you, especially because Chiron is in Aries in your 12th house. Gemini risings. This super full moon is impacting your 11th house of community and friendships. So some of you may be seeing friends eclipsed out of your life or coming in, but I'm really saying this super full moon is more of a loss. So if you have a friendship that's really just starting to feel strained, if you're starting to feel like I just can't trust this friend, might be time to just try a little bit of a distance. And I'm not saying, by the way, that you have to just instantly cut somebody off because they're irritating you and this super full moon has to deal with relationships. No, not at all. You have free will. You always have free will. But definitely look back, and if you've had a lot of tension in your friendships, maybe just give yourself some space. Just kind of move forward and do what you need to do, and then check back maybe with a friend a little bit later. Cancer risings. This super full moon is impacting your 10th house of career, fame, and your public reputation. So Cancer risings, I'm seeing, because you're activated also by this Cardinal Grand Cross, some of you may completely change careers at this time. You might also deal with relationships that are harming your public reputation. Maybe you start to catch wind that there are people spreading some things about you, or maybe people a little bit two-faced behind your back. So definitely, if there's something going on, or if you get kind of wind of maybe somebody says something and you're like, I never said that, or you just start to get this sense that something isn't quite right with your relationships at work, there might be a change going on there. And again, think back what was going on in April 8th, 2024, the week before, the week after. Also look back at April 2004 through March 2006, October 2014 through September 2016. Leo risings. This super full moon is impacting your ninth house of travel, study, international relations, and religion. So some of you may actually be leaving different locations. I'm seeing perhaps some of you that have maybe moved abroad, maybe some expats might have some difficulties in terms of renewing or staying in your new country. I'm also seeing that when it comes to studying or like religion, you may have a different opinion about something than your family or something. It looks like there's kind of a break. Virgo risings. This is impacting your 8th house of death, debt, taxes, and inheritance. And if we're in a partnership, this can actually be about our partner's finances. So think back, what was going on around April 8th, 2024, especially if there was something financial going on with your partner. Libra risings. This is impacting your 7th house of relationships, romantic partnerships, and marriage, but also business partnerships. So Libra risings in particular, you may find that there's something different or changing when it comes to romance. And this is not necessarily a bad thing either. I'm just putting that out there. Scorpio rising, this is impacting your 6th house of health and physical wellness. And oh no, looks like my battery is about to die. So I'm gonna stop here. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get to the rest of the signs. I'm gonna put them on the elevator or a blog. Thank you so much. If you want to book a session with me or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer anything for you. Have a great super full moon, and I will chat with you all soon.